All right, we're live and welcome to the Slim Nation. My name is James Slim Overton, and I'm here with you today, and I have a special guest with me. And turn down this music a little bit, and we'll have a conversation. And with me today is a longtime friend and neighborhood guy, uh, Coach Jenson Baker. And for those who don't know, some of you might know, we used to call him Light Baker. And I don't know where that started, but that was the name during the high school days when we had this little high school fraternity. But now he elevated to he's a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. How you doing, Jensen? And
Hey, hey,
go between Jensen and Light, just
now you good. Look, because look, I've always known you as Slim,
yeah,
So,
his
and
neighborhood.
I guess that'll never change.
How about that, buddy? But anyway, he's here with us today, and this is one of the Slim Nation's one-on-ones that we do here on the Slim Nation. Kind of in junction with the other show we have, Post and Coffee Talk, which we have other hosts, Neil Drake Stiff and Thomas the Colonel Chapman. But the Slim Nation is pretty much my baby, and all I do is one-on-ones with people that I've known for a while, and some people I'm just meeting. But today we have Light Baker on today, Jenson Baker. You see his name, so well, he has Coach Baker, former coach and player in the city of Portsmouth at Craddock High School and Hampton University. And just wanted to come on and talk a little bit with you, Coach, about some of the things you're doing. You were educated for many years, kind of retired from that, but you didn't retire from working with the youth. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with the youth, and in general, or be specific if you want to.
Well, Slim, I tell you, man, when they say retirement, I don't even know what that is because I feel like I never had a job, man. I've always been working with kids, and it's been something that I love to do. So, if you want to call it retired, I retired in July 22, Portsmouth School System, 33 years, 10 years in Detroit. And now I am teaching mindfulness. I'm the mindfulness coach for Portsmouth Public Schools with two schools I have right now, Douglas Park Elementary and Treasury Academy. And so I'm teaching the kids mindfulness. Also, I have a school out in Virginia Beach, Mile High Kids Academy. These are 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that I'm teaching mindfulness and brain science. You say, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is teaching the kids how to pay attention, how to stay focused. A lot of times, you don't know what the kid might have left when they left home, but if you can get them at school and just use their breath in order to teach them how to stay focused, it's sort of Slim, teaching the kids from the inside out, teaching them self-control, how to control their anger, how to develop compassion. And I think this is one of the biggest things when it comes to violence. I'm just a strong believer on it that if a kid can control his anger and develop compassion, the violence will stop. But this cannot happen overnight. So that's why I sort of look at the preschoolers and trying to teach them, and each year trying to develop that skill, give them that tool of controlling that emotion.
Yeah, that's very important, especially with like you said, the preschoolers and on up. And as we talk about youth violence in the city, I think all the professionals would tell you a lot of it goes back to an early age and how the environment they grew up in. And a lot of times they grow up in an environment where later on they're just acting out what they have experienced. Sometimes it's bad experiences, and sometimes it's just all they know, what they've seen in their family life. So, what I know you started out, the coaching, and you say even you never felt like you had a job because it was always a pleasure and working with kids, and it was kind of like that with your family. I think about your brother. I just want to go back there for a minute, who used to work with the youth in football and sports. So it was something. He was an older brother, and you saw that coming up. And then you had another brother that went on and played in the NFL, and you saw how they were working. That probably was a big influence on you in continuing, because you are a product of your environment. And
Right, right. Exactly. And that, being fatherless, my father died when I was 11 months old. So my older brother was always my father figure. And and as you mentioned him, he was the first to go to the pros from Norfolk State. He went to Green Bay, and Lombardi cut him. Vince Lombardi cut him. He just said, you quick as a cat, but you're a little too small. But he ended up going to Canada, ended up playing with the New York Giants. And then my brother James, who was in our little high school fraternity.
yeah, we saw him bake.
Yeah, White Baker.
What?
And he had a little little league team, and he used to always paint their helmets different colors of the NFL. And then my sister, she was a cheerleader at Norfolk State, and I guess it just trickled down, man. We were like, the football family in Truxton. And that really, like you said, played being a product of that environment. It played a lot on, my success.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because it affected you, and this is what you are doing to try to influence or affect the kids coming up now, so they will have that same kind of attitude when they grow into adulthood. Especially when you talk about education, reading. Teaching kids reading is good if they know how to read, but it doesn't mean a lot if they can't comprehend what they're reading. So the same thing, if the environment you create with your programs teach them how to continue that on into their adult life, and maybe keep them out of trouble.
Well, the biggest thing with in order to learn something, you have to be able to pay attention. And when you're talking about paying attention, Slim, that comes with being presence, being in the present moment, not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future. And when you talk about, you can be present physically. Now, I mean, right now you are looking at me and you're here. We have a physical presence. But at times, like with this show, you might be kind of thinking, okay, what's my next question? Okay. And in the classroom, the kids can come in the classroom and looking right at the teacher, and they thinking about, hey, they're hungry, or they thinking about they want to play a video game, or they thinking about, hey, I don't like this guy, I'm gonna get him after school. So they are present physically, but mentally they are not there. They may have left something at home, upset with their mom, upset with their, so they're sitting in the classroom. They have the physical presence, but the mental presence and emotional presence might not be there. So how do they focus? How do they refocus on that teacher? And that's where the breath comes in. You just simply take a deep breath and bring yourself back to the present moment. So the more that the kids practice this, just like with anything, it takes 21 days to develop a habit. So I have brought this program in the schools called Inner Explore. And Inner Explore takes the kids through different types of guided meditation practices. And I also have mindfulness coaches that come in the classroom to teach them this skill. With mindfulness, it is being known right now more so than it used to be. People used to think of it as developing from Buddhism, and it does have a Buddhism background. But I'm a strong believer in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I definitely know that this tool of using your breath helps you to control your emotions. The first thing that people tell you to do when you get angry is to take a deep breath. But a lot of times they don't know why they are taking a deep breath.
Mhm.
And this is what we do with brain science. We let them kids know that it's the amygdala part of the brain that's causing these emotions, and it's the prefrontal cortex parts of the brain that helps them to make good decisions. So taking those breaths really affect those parts of the brain. And with my company, we're a strong believer that this is what these kids should learn at an early age, and this is how to stop the violence.
Wow. So you made a conscious effort to go into the human behavior of young kids. You're talking about different parts of the brain, and a lot of times that doesn't happen. Some people just go out there and just do what they do, but sometimes it's good to know exactly the human behavior of the people that you're working with, and I commend you for that. In 1 minute, I just want to do some shout outs here. A shout out to Roberta Carter, uh, Dwight Fennell. We used to call him Fuzzy. These are some of these are union people, man.
Okay.
Listening in on a Hamptonian.
That's all right.
Tiffany
That's all
Chapman
right.
and a community guy, John Winley, Tiffany Chapman. Thanks for your service. And Diane Ricks Jones, another Unionite, Renee Blackburn Barley. And thank you for watching the Slim Nation, this one-on-one with Coach Baker. Just wanted to give them a shout out there. Yeah, man, wow. And that's great. And you got it in the schools here in Portsmouth, your hometown, as well as Virginia Beach. Did it take a lot to try, because you had to work with the school systems in both of these cities in order to convince them to let you come in? I guess you had to do a presentation because they're not
Oh
going to
yeah.
let the program in. And just like I mentioned before, you made a conscious effort to come in there. Your presentation probably really impressed them because of the in-depth study that you did before you even introduced the program, so they would know you're coming in there with some substance.
Exactly. I when I first started mindfulness in 2009, I went to New Directions, the alternative ed school, in 2010, and I taught mindfulness. We had a nice program going, and I just felt like, hey, if I can teach this, and these kids were receptive to it in the alternative ed schools where behaviors were high, I really felt like I could teach it anywhere. And so, it's been a rough ride. It was a point to where I wanted to pull out Slim and just use it for my personal benefit with my kids. And a young lady named Shirley Edwards, she said that a group of people called Virginia organizers would
Mm-hmm.
like for you to present mindfulness. And when I presented it to Virginia organizers, not really understanding what they were, but they are advocates for something that's going to help the community. And
Mm-hmm.
when I spoke with them, man, hey, they ran with it, man. They sort of, put it in the newspaper how important mindfulness would be in Portsmouth Public Schools. They addressed the school board, and I really appreciated what they did, and the efforts that they made to push this. Mindfulness needs to be part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you cannot pay attention, you cannot learn.
Yeah, and that's so important what you said. So much is being taught towards the test, with the SOLs and everything like that, and hopefully we'll slowly kind of get away from that. I know it's important in some areas, but if it takes up so much time and you can't introduce programs such as what you're doing, and the teachers that are there regularly can't teach outside of the box sometimes, like they did with us when we were in school. Sometimes you had to go away from the books in order to teach those hard lessons, because all the students are different. So hopefully, uh, it will be a part of the curriculum down the road, when people see how important it is, and they
Oh
can
yeah.
see. Now, it's been going on for a while. Have you had the opportunity to track the success? I know it's kind of early,
Yeah, no, well, last year, the school that I retired, I did a little survey with some teachers, and we had some positive results. And I think with those positive results, it gave Dr. Bracy inclination of, this might be something that might be good in the schools. So, the data that I put out with that, I think helped, and we definitely trying to run some data with this program that we have now.
Yeah, because oftentimes you have groups that introduce, programs or products like this, and they have no way of tracking, or they don't have in the system a way of tracking, and sometimes those groups fail because you don't know all the good it did at the present moment. It has to have some residual effects down the road. So if you don't
Yeah,
know
you
what,
have to have the evidence. You have to show
right,
the
right,
evidence
and it's
without a doubt.
room for improvement and all that. And as I mentioned, and how does is it a certain classes that you go in, or how do students be involved? Do they have
Well,
to
it's
sign up for it?
kindergarten through sixth grade, and all of them get a taste of it.
Okay.
With me being a health and physical education teacher, a young man named Mr. Van Leer is my mindfulness coordinator at Churchland Academy, and Christopher Washington, who is at Douglas Park. Now, they are physical education teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the kids come through physical education. So that's basically where they push it. And then, like I said, I have coaches that go in to special classes or special situations, like, they have the ISS programs. And I know that it was one school, Robert Coleman Elementary School in Baltimore, their in-school suspension room was a mindfulness room.
Mm.
So when they got in trouble, they went to the mindfulness room. They didn't call it in-school suspension because they felt like that was a negative. And when those kids went into that room, they did meditation. And it really helped them to calm their senses. I tell people, it's just like we lift weights, man, to build up our muscles. Okay, you have to do these breathing activities, breathing techniques in order to build up the brain. Sometimes you have so many thoughts, man, that's going on, and you just have to take a break. So basically, that's what it is, giving some brain breaks to the mind, and that helps to develop the mind a lot better.
Yeah, this is so important when coaches, like you say, can have in combination, the physical part of it and the academic part of it, because both of them play off each other. And because I remember my basketball coach at Norcom was my biology teacher. He was
Mm-hmm.
a gym teacher, so I was
Was
being
that Coach Banks?
in the classroom by my coach. So
Mm-hmm.
that was
Was that
important.
Coach Banks? Who was that coach then?
Coach Baker,
Oh, okay,
no
right,
relation, but
okay.
Coach Bobby Baker.
Bobby Baker. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember him. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember him. Yeah,
but
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
let me move on now. Like I mentioned earlier, a member of Mega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and you, as an organization, you all already do things in the community, and it's always been something that the Divine Nine, as a whole, they're dedicated to community service. We talked. I've talked one time about the difference between HBCUs or black fraternities and other fraternities. Some other fraternities, sometimes their service or whatever they do stops after they graduate. But with
Mm-hmm.
fraternities, that service continues. And I think that's the main purpose when you pledge, if you pledge on campus, to continue that, throughout your life. So, and you've been doing that with with your fraternity. So leading up to, you have a event coming up this weekend, where that you've been doing for a while, but now you can do it. It's been virtual. Well, I'll let you talk about it. Go ahead.
Well, I remember Slim used to come out to our football combines.
Yeah.
I think you would come out and we ran that for 20 years. And so then now we went to what's called Bridge Builders,
Mm.
where we recognize people in the community that helps to pull someone else up to be successful. So we started Bridge Builders in 2015. That first banquet, we recognized Coach Langston, Coach Moore, Coach Strickland. We recognized Coach Williams that was at Manor, and I'm missing one more, Slim. But then 2016 we didn't have it. 2017 we came back with Bridge Builders, and we recognized the professional athletes. We recognized Coach Gordon. We recognized Coach Stoops. My brother, Tommy Reeman. So then in 2017, we felt like it was the ladies' turn. And we recognized 17 young ladies in the area that were bridge builders, and we call it Phenomenal Women. And Marie Shepard, Dr. Shepard, Senator Lucas, Costello Williams. I mean, just to name a few, man. I think it was about 15 in that class. And then 2018, we went to Phenomenal Women. And then, we after that, we had to go virtual, okay, because of COVID. And but we kept going, man. We kept going. We kept pushing. We started doing 5 or 6 Phenomenal Women. Then we were recognized churches. Okay. Now the event that's coming up this week is March 18th at the Edmond Center. Our bridge builders will be recognizing 5 gentlemen and 5 phenomenal women. And among the phenomenal women, we have Khadijah Miller. She is a professor at North State University. Stacy Lawton, who is in healthcare. Monica Atkins, who's her Stop the Violence program. I think her son was killed years ago. Yes. He was, okay, you know the name. At 20, yeah. I think he was killed. He was 25. And Tanya Fields Hines, who is the principal at Douglas Park Elementary. We also doing a special tribute to Missy Elliott. And then the 5 gentlemen that we have, Corey O's for volunteerism. He's out of Franklin, Virginia. He does a lot with volunteering. Pastor H.P. Kaysen at Bethany Baptist Church. That's our theological award that we presenting. Julius Williams. Julius Williams. Yes. He would receive the business award. Tim Johnson, who's the principal at Manor High School, would get the education award, and then and that's Dr. Tim Johnson, and then Dr. Bracey, who is the superintendent of schools, we getting him the leadership award. So we do this every year, and next year, without a doubt, I'm nominating for a communication award. I'm definitely nominating James Overton.
Oh, wow.
So you can look forward to it, Slim, that because you're doing some great things in the community, man. And, so that's going to sort of follow the award for next year. Don Roberts, he retired, so we're gonna do a special tribute to him. So he's sort of right there in your field, man. And so these some people that we're looking at. I know Liz Stiff is doing a great job in the community. Samara Montgomery, Cliff Hayes. We look at our home girl, Dolores Short, man. Dolores, she's done some things. Even her husband, we can look at that as a military award. So these are the type of people that we have looked at and that we are looking at that we want to recognize.
Yeah, and a lot of people might recognize the name sometime, but they don't know everything that these people have done or that they do, because a lot of them, they don't they don't share the things that they do. They just do it because it's in their heart to do it. So it's
Right,
to
right.
recognize, always to recognize these people in the community.
And
And
like you said, people don't know, so that we feel like that's our purpose, to help people to know these things that the people are doing in the community. Exactly.
yeah, and and they're making history, every day, and it's important for us to continue to share our history, especially when we have forces trying to stop the history that's learned in our school.
Right, right,
And we can't always complain about it. We can work. We have people that's working as far as policy making that can rectify that if need be. But we still have a responsibility as communities, and to make sure that that history is passed down, especially to our youth. What concerns me the most is our youth knowing about people that are right here in the present, and they can feel and touch and talk to, while they're making history. And a lot of
right.
times, a lot of our young people don't know that. I know it's a few days away, but are there still tickets left, or how much are the tickets?
Yes. Tickets are $50. Like I said, it's the at the Edmond Center, March 18th at 6 o'clock. That Cash App is Cash App Portsmouth Outreach F. That's Portsmouth Outreach F. If you would like to purchase a ticket.
Okay.
And I guess, if you want to call me, my phone number is 757-817-6535. If you want more information, that's 757-817-6535. Coach Baker.
Yeah, and it's going to be a worthwhile event to go to, and always at the Edmond Center, the food is great. So
Oh yeah.
you're gonna feel that part of being at the event, but also you'll be nourished by the information that comes from what they share about the people that are being honored. So it'll be a great event to come to, and like Coach said, tickets are still available. It's this Saturday at and what's the starting time again?
6 o'clock.
Okay, at 6 o'clock, and you will start at 6 o'clock, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So be there on time, and just be there for one thing, and honor these people along with the organization that's doing this for the great work they're doing. Coach, I really thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming on Slim Nation 101 and talking to me, and hope to have you back again. And there's plenty other subjects we can talk about. I'd like to get you back up here and talk about, you growing up in the neighborhood, and the influences that were there for you. I always like to talk about that because everybody had a beginning, had influences or things that happened to them early in their life that shaped them into the people they are today. So I always like to talk about that because everybody has a interesting story about how that came about, the ups and downs, and how things turned out. And so we'll do that again real soon.
Well, hey man, well I really enjoyed it. I just want to give a shout out to my wife Catherine, my son Christopher, my son Christian, and my daughter Candace.
Yes, indeed. And again, we appreciate you, brother. And come back and just give that information one more time about the event coming up on Saturday.
Okay, and that is the Bridge Builders Phenomenal Woman Banquet, March 18th at the Edmond Center at 6 o'clock. Tickets are $50. For more information, you can call me at 757-817-6535. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and before we go off, let me give another shout out to Chris Stevenson. And the reason I wanted to shout him out, he attended St. Paul's College, and he's a part of a rebirthing of that. And he has a group of alums that are trying to bring St. Paul back, and they have some violent efforts. They've been on the show. I'm gonna have them back on here to talk about what they're doing now to bring St. Paul back. And you can remember being an HBCU at Hampton, playing when the CIAA playing against St. Paul.
Oh yeah.
And I always joked about, everybody wanted to play St. Paul for homecoming.
Yeah. Well, Slim, Tanya Fields Hines, who we are honoring, she was a basketball star at St. Paul. Matter of fact, I think she played with Kim Mack. You remember Kim Mack, right?
Kim Mack.
Yeah, Kim Mack, George Mack's sister.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think they played together at St. Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if she's a part of that group, but you threw that name out there. I'm sure.
Yeah, Tanya Fields Hines. Yep.
I'm sure Trish will want to get in touch with her, and so she can be a part of the effort they're doing, and they're
right.
a violent effort for what they're doing down there in Lawrenceville to bring St. Paul back to some kind of educational institution. And one more shout out Helen Davis. Helen Davis, longtime educator and worker here in the city of Portsmouth. She was one of the first ladies to lead the Central Civic Forum, which was a group long time ago that used to come together and sort of cultivate candidates for office back in the day. And
that wasn't a librarian, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I remember the name. Yeah.
And we're kind of honoring her during this Women's History Month. So Helen Davis, thanks for watching. We appreciate you, and we're going to let people know what you've been doing, what you did all over the years. So just want to shout outs. And Carol Jane Purdue Burton, another St. Paul alum that grew up in near Truxton in the Fairfield Heights neighborhood. So did all my shout outs, and I want to thank all the people that were watching. I want to thank you again for being a part of the Slim Nation, and people like you coming on is what Slim Nation is all about.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thanks again, brother. And I'll be talking to you soon, and I'll see you Saturday. And
sounds good. Sounds good. Appreciate it, Slim.
No problem.
Take care, man.